how the hell are ya? I want to welcome you back to another amazing episode of the Poison Tea Party. I'm here with my sister, Janet.
That's me.
And my niece, Cowie.
Heyo.
And today we have a very special episode because we are also joined by all of you.
Woo!
Obviously, if you are listening and you can't see what's going on here this evening, we are in the midst of our very first ever Poison Tea Party. We have everyone here with us right now that have been big supporters of the show. Say hey, everyone.
That's a good crowd.
That's a nice crowd. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in here today, you guys.
Okay, sounds great. Let's do it.
Today we will be talking about Lizzie Borden.
Oh, I know. I've heard this story a million times.
A bajillion times.
Not a long time, a million times.
So if you don't know about this case, wow, that's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, sorry for you.
But also, it's fine. We're going to talk about everything, including a lot of things that aren't usually mentioned as far as this case is involved. There are actually so many theories, and we're going to talk about most of them. But to kick us off, we're going to start off with the murders.
Yeah.
I know. The murders, you ask?
The murders.
The murders. Yes. We usually have a whole lead up to the murder moment here at the Poison Tea Party.
We're going to start there?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
are you sure?
Yeah. In order to really paint this picture, we have to start at the end.
Okay.
Kaylee Joe, do you know the Lizzie Borden rhyme? or song or whatever the fuck you want to call it? Do you know
It
it?
goes something like, Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. And then she gave her dad.
Yeah. Wrong. All right, everybody.
Loser.
If you know this, sing it. Say it along with me.
Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Oh, sorry. Tea break.
Tea break. Tea break. So this playground song that children actually sang, by the way, this was a real thing. So it isn't entirely accurate for several reasons, but they sang it nonetheless. So on August 4th of 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found bludgeoned to death in their Fall River, Massachusetts home. They were not, however, found together or at the same time. Andrew was found first, slumped on a couch in the downstairs sitting room, struck 10 or 11 times. There's a lot of conflicting information if you look this up, so we're just going to go with what I have written, and that's gospel at this point.
Yeah.
Damn.
With a hatchet-like weapon. One of his eyes had been split cleanly in two, suggesting that he had been asleep when attacked, because obviously if somebody's coming at you, you're not going to, be like...
Just lay there and be
Right.
like, yeah, do it to me,
split
Daddy.
my eye, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Sorry, my dad's here. We're gonna have to be more appropriate.
No, we won't.
Okay.
That's fine. His still bleeding wound suggested a very recent attack. Abby was found next after the doctor and police were already at the scene. She was first struck on the side of the head with a hatchet or hatchet-like weapon, which cut her just above the ear, causing her to turn and fall face down, creating contusions on her forehead and her nose.
Ew.
Her killer then struck her multiple times, delivering 18 or 19 more blows to the back of her head.
Somebody didn't like her.
Oh my
Somebody
god.
did not like her.
They didn't like her.
They did more than double tap.
Bajillion
That
tapped on that.
was a lot of taps. I'm taking a
that
tea
ass.
break. I don't know about everybody
Tea
else.
break.
Let me pour my beer real quick. Right here.
Oh, pour that beer, Racha.
Oh. Okay, so key figures. We're going to talk about the people more in depth that we just talked about. I'm sure you'd like to know what the fuck is going on if you don't already know the story. So Andrew Borden. Andrew Borden married Sarah Anthony Morse in 1845.
And Andrew's like the dad, right?
Andrew's the dad.
Okay, sorry.
And the couple later welcomed 3 daughters, and that's Emma, Alice, and Lizzie. A successful businessman by the time he reached midlife, he had all sorts of things going on. Andrew gained additional wealth thanks to his many investments. His 1-year-old daughter, Alice, died in 1858, and his wife, Sarah, she died in 1863. He later married Abby Gray in 1865, and Abby then became stepmother to Emma, who
Gray,
was
Dad.
14. What'd you say, Dad?
Gray.
Yeah, we're related to
We're
that.
related to Gray.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Look into this.
I cleaned their gravestones,
Where,
man.
where was this at?
In Massachusetts. Fall
Ours
River,
were New
Massachusetts.
Jersey, but that's pretty close.
I mean, hey.
Oh my God, what?
Oh my God, what? Let's do some digging.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
There's a chance you have crazy in your blood.
Oh,
my
God.
Well, that's already been proven.
You don't know me, homie. For fuck's sake.
Oh Lord.
Okay, so Emma was 14 and Lizzie was 4 when Andrew married Abby.
So Lizzie's the younger.
yes.
Okay.
Apparently, Andrew did not spend as much on upper class comforts as other well-off families did at the time.
Yeah, he was like a tight ass.
Yeah, so he refused to pay for running water on the second floor of his home. He also refused to connect his house to gas mains or installing a telephone, even though he definitely could afford all of these things and much, much
So
more.
wait a minute. So could you have a shower in your home at this time?
Yeah.
Could you have a shower?
No, I mean, I don't know about a shower, but they definitely did baths. I guess I didn't look that
But he
up.
was like, nah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was like, nah, bitch.
Not gonna do
You
that.
can be
Go
stanky
to the
ass.
fucking river.
All right,
So
here we go.
he seemed generous in other ways. He paid for his daughter's education and their travels. He also hired a live-in maid to help around the house. All right, now we're going to
Sorry.
talk about Abby Gray or Abby Durfee. There's 2 E's at the end. I'm not exactly sure how we say this. Abby was the second wife to Andrew Borden. She was 37 years old and considered to be an old maid when they first married.
Oh my
Oh,
fucking
God.
Wow.
That's just 1 year
She's
younger than I am.
37 and an old maid.
I'm 38.
Bitch, you're dead as hell.
I'm dead as hell.
You're dead as hell.
So Abby used the Durf name to link her with one of the first families in the area. She desired respect and social status, but was often regarded as the daughter of a pushcart peddler.
What?
What does that even fucking mean?
Basically,
That
she was
she's
low
like,
class. So
Yeah.
here,
Like a piece of shit.
fucking, like,
so
insult.
to marry someone of
Yeah.
Andrew's station was unexpected. Many at the time speculated that Andrew had only proposed to her because he was looking for a housekeeper and somebody to take care of his daughters.
Oh my fucking God.
Which,
Fuck that.
listen, it's the time, man. I'm not saying that shit's like legit right now. I'm just saying that that's what they fucking did.
I
back
don't
in
like
the day.
that.
I mean,
I don't like that.
I didn't say that I fucking liked it,
Okay,
but it
okay.
is what it is. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about Lizzie. Lizzie was born on July 19th of 1860. At the age of 2, she suffered the loss of her mother. However, she remained close to her father, and Lizzie told many she had no memories of her mother at all, which is, she was only 2 when she died, so. Lizzie knew her position in life, and she held it well. She was a typical high society young debutante, and she belonged to numerous clubs. She was an active member in her church as a Sunday school teacher, and in all the organizations she participated in, Lizzie generally held a leadership role in some way or another. She was often treasurer, probably because of her father's wealth, and or secretary. Despite her position, Lizzie never married. She remained unmarried till the day that she died.
Why?
There are many reasons given for this. First,
She wasn't ugly.
well, this is what it says. First, she was not.
She was ugly?
She was not of a great beauty, is what she is described
Wow.
They said she was ugly?
as. Yeah, some called her
Oh my God,
homely.
wait a minute though, hold on. Do you ever hear like things throughout like whatever and then they go, she was beautiful and you go, dude, she
Right.
was not
Goo,
beautiful.
not cute.
No.
Not
I don't
pimping.
think she was ugly.
I didn't think she
Not
was either.
pimping.
Not pimping.
She wasn't pimping.
P-I-N.
was
Oh
not.
my God.
Pimpin'.
Second, she resented her father in the fact that she was not allowed the great benefits of being well off. Third, she was at an odd station in life. No suitor was acceptable for her, and for those who would suit her station, she was considered unacceptable, mostly because of her looks.
Because she was ugly?
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
this is coming
God.
from a bunch of fucking gremlins. Be so for real. Oh my God.
Gremlins and petticoats.
How many people
And
are like,
petticoats.
we just can't marry her because she looking like that? Like, bitch, get out
Oh
of here.
my
you
God.
preppy gremlin.
No.
Well, so it is said that those who would have her, her father viewed as inferior and would chase them off as fortune hunters.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you're
What is
ugly.
happening?
This is what's happening. She's ugly, so no one will marry her.
Yep.
But the guys that will marry her, her dad's like, no, they're not worthy. So there's no one.
Nobody.
That's
Fucked up.
That's
Yeah.
fucked up. That
Thank
is
you.
fucked up.
Thank
Thank
you.
It's
you.
fucked up.
So now we're going to talk about Emma, who is Lizzie's older sister. She was born March 1st of 1851, and Emma was the oldest of the 3 daughters, born to Sarah and Andrew. When Sarah died, Emma was 12. Emma never appeared unhappy about her life. She seemed to take things as they came, and there is actually little knowledge of who Emma Borden really was. There are no records of her education, love life, etc., and there are very few pictures of her if you try to look them up. Okay, so Emma became the sole heir to the Borden fortune after her father and stepmother's deaths. She used the funds from the fortune to help Lizzie in her quest for innocence. Okay, so now we're going to talk about John Vinicum Morse.
Oh.
So John Vinicum Morse was the brother of Andrew's first wife, Sarah. We had talked about her. That's Lizzie and Emma's mom. He appeared to be the only true friend that Andrew actually had in his life. The 2 men were always quite close, and they had at one point gone into a casket making business together.
Right. Okay. A casket making business?
Yes.
And
Wow, that's iconic.
I mean, that's a business that never goes out, right? Like,
Absolutely. There's always
I
a
should
need.
have been an embalmer.
Yeah,
I
me
know,
too.
I
I
think
was
about that all
gonna
the time.
do that.
I could have done like the makeups.
I was gonna do it too. Remember when I took my classes?
I tried to get you to do it.
Their business relationship ended when John chose to move west, and he first settled in Illinois, and then he moved to Iowa,
Of course he did.
where
Of course he
that's
did.
right, where he lived for 25 years as a horse breeder.
Horse breeder?
Yes.
Horses, that's what they did the work with.
Yep.
In Iowa?
Yep.
Everybody had horses.
I mean, for farming.
I believe it was Hamilton. I think I talk about
This
it
is the
later.
1800s, so they're pulling equipment with the horses and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
And the horse and buggies.
You're right.
You're
Okay,
right.
all
You
right.
are right.
I made a point.
Yeah.
So next we have Bridget Sullivan. Bridget immigrated from Ireland in 1883, and she came to the Borden family 6 years later after she had immigrated as a live-in maid. No one is sure how old she was the day of the Borden murders, but it is estimated that she was probably about in her mid-20s.
Okay, but she's the maid.
Yes, I'm going to talk about like a timeline leading up to the murders. So in 1887, after some sort of argument, Lizzie Borden stops calling her stepmother mother. Now remember, Lizzie was 4
Oh my god.
when Andrew and Abby got married. So naturally, she was young. She didn't have a mother. Her mother had passed, so she always called Abby mother up until an argument in 1887, and then she started referring to her as stepmother or Mrs. Borden.
Like, how fucking hilarious.
So, June 24th of 1891, a daytime robbery of cash and jewelry occurred at the Borden home. Now, Lizzie, Emma, and Bridget were all home at the time of this robbery.
1891.
1891.
Okay.
Lizzie, who had earlier been accused of shoplifting by several local merchants, was the family's prime suspect. And from this date, all doors to the Borden home had remained locked. They kept them all locked at all times.
So you're saying there was a fucking heist
yes,
at
a
the
heist.
Borden home?
I don't know if I'd call it a heist.
You
but-
said jewelry?
I mean, yeah, there was jewelry and cash missing.
And
and they couldn't
3
account for it. They didn't know
Yeah.
anything about what
They
happened.
just assumed
what
it was
I
Lizzie
Yeah.
because she had already been accused of shoplifting.
What
So-
did the
Okay.
is there any information on what they witnessed?
What? Who witnessed?
The 3 girls
Well,
that
they
were
didn't
home.
witness
they didn't
anything.
witness shit.
They just were like sleeping or what?
I don't fucking know. I didn't go into that shit. That's not why we're here.
Well, then it sounds like it.
we're not here for that.
I'm just trying to fucking dissect the case.
Maybe
So,
Welcome to Kaylee.
Welcome to Kaylee's part.
Bro,
No, so there is no information other than that. That's it.
I'm just giving you
so
shit,
there's
honey. You're
literally
doing
no
great.
information.
No.
Yeah.
So we just are like, this is all theory.
Yes. But the most important part of that is that you need to know that the Borden home was
Wrap your head around
locked.
that, Kaylee.
It's fucking bullshit,
It
man.
was locked all the time. You came with the key, you unlocked the door, you
guys
closed the door,
haven't-
you locked it behind you.
Kaylee hasn't
I'm
started
just
preaching
trying
yet,
to-
so...
No,
Her
fuck.
soapbox is not out yet. You have
Look,
no
I'm
idea.
just trying to like say
So
that
this is where those 3 a.m.s come into play.
Yep.
Girl,
Absolutely.
yes.
no.
So we're going to move on. April of 1892, according to Hannah Gifford, and she was a Fall River cloak maker. Lizzie tells Gifford that Abby is a mean old thing. There's a whole conversation. I didn't feel the need to put it all in there. So in May or June of 1892, Andrew Borden uses a hatchet to kill pigeons in a family barn.
What?
Now, the
Why a
pigeons...
hatchet?
Yeah. The pigeons roosted in the barn that Lizzie maintained. We will talk about this more later.
Okay, good.
But you need to know that this was Lizzie wanted those pigeons there. She loved those pigeons.
And he fucking killed
And
them.
Well, he killed
with
them
a hatchet.
He
and
fucking killed
them.
him. Killed.
with a fucking hatchet.
Absolutely. So July 21st of 1892, following a family disagreement, Lizzie and Emma Borden leave Fall River and travel to New Bedford, and they stay there for a while, for a couple of weeks. August 2nd of 1892, Abby and Andrew Borden awaken complaining of stomach sickness. Abby visits Dr. Bowen, and she suggests that they may have been poisoned. Now, Dr. Bowen thinks that this is all fucking ludicrous, and he does do an investigation reluctantly. He does not really think that anything
He's like,
is going on.
they're rich, so they
Yeah.
need me to do this,
He's
but
just
I
like,
don't need
whatever,
to do this.
this is fucking stupid.
What is happening? This is
This is
crazy.
1892, bitch. Get on my level. Bro.
No, I'm just like, can you guys take a second and just be like, this is fucking insane.
Listen, I need you to understand that I've researched this to death, and so
Like-
I am not shocked by any of this anymore.
I know, but
okay,
this
imagine
timeline is
everyone,
so fucking like random.
Imagine you're at your house, and then all of a sudden it's broken into, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're sick, and then all of a sudden, you know, like this, and this, and this.
It's
Is that?
just-
You start a conspiracy theory.
I mean, in my house,
I'm
it's a
just like, what the
fucking
fuck is
regular
going on?
week,
Right.
but I don't know how anybody else's house.
So we're
is.
gonna-
broke into your house and poisoned your.
Right.
Yeah,
So
kind
they
of
were
seems
sick.
a little right. Would you be like something? There
Like,
might
you
be
probably
something to
start
that.
going
The
insane.
poisoning came before the jewelry. Then I could see linking a little bit more, but the jewelry coming before the
poison.
I don't see that link.
Okay.
You know, I see
And it
like
was a
could
long
be
time. So,
anybody
like, for
they
record,
stole.
for whatever, the robbery was June 24th of 1891. The poisoning was August 2nd of 1892.
Oh, so it's over a year.
So it's over a year between these two incidents.
I still would draw a line.
I think I'd still
I'd
be,
be
like, what the fuck?
Well, so when she
You don't know what
reported
the family
this,
dynamic is in that
assume
time.
Yeah.
Lizzie
Right.
did both.
And it's
I-
a different mindset in the 1800s
also
too.
you
I
have
don't know. You're right. No, you're right. I don't know that I'd assumed. I just would connect them because weird shit happens here, and I go, remember that fucking.
We're gonna talk about it a little
Okay,
bit more
all right,
later about the whole thinking poisoning. It involves mutton being on the stove for several days and them consuming it and then
Oh, well,
whatever.
That's stupid.
Yes. So
Well, those were the days. Those
We will
were the
leave
days.
it in. That's right, girl.
We do a tea break.
Yeah, let's do a tea break.
Let's do a tea break.
Tea break.
Look at that.
Ooh, like a glove.
Yes, baby. The good stuff.
That good. All right, are we ready?
And he tried.
Let's continue.
He's made a living.
John,
Good living.
John, I'm
Yeah.
gonna need you to chill the fuck out.
Oh, shut up.
John's. Oh, Joe.
Oh, Joe.
Oh, Joe.
You're so silly. Oh my god.
She said John. I thought her man. I said no. That's Joe.
where is
You
my
know
John?
That's
Oh,
Joe
he's
acting up.
there.
Where
All
is
right.
Joe?
So August 3rd. So we just talked about August 2nd, and that would be when they got the stomach sickness.
Okay, so they're sick on the second.
On the 2nd. So on the 3rd, Lizzie reportedly tries to buy poison from the drugstore. We will discuss this later. Let's get through this timeline,
Okay.
bitch.
Okay,
Like,
let's do
get
it. Let's get through it.
Okay, how long is the timeline?
It's very
Bitch.
long. Okay, so
Till
again,
they die.
As long as it is.
Bitch.
It ain't no longer than that.
so that would be in the AM. The PM on August 3rd. John Morse arrives for a stay at the Bordens. Now, you remember that is Lizzie and Emma's maternal uncle.
Okay. And he's gonna stay there and like hang out for a night.
Yes. So
What's his name?
John Morse.
John Morse. Okay.
Yep. So Lizzie visits Alice Russell and talks anxiously about household activities. Alice Russell is a neighbor that is very close. Lizzie is very close with Alice Russell.
Oh, I don't want to go back. No, we're good. I had a question, but So if it's her maternal uncle.
Yes.
Does Abby have any reservations about that, or she's like okay accepting?
By all accounts, she's completely accepting of him, and she likes him just as much as Andrew does.
Okay, good.
Does she like him too much?
That's not a thing that ever comes up, but hey, that would definitely be a question to be asked.
Question.
Yeah.
There's video somewhere.
Somewhere. So Lizzie tells Alice that she fears poisoning, that her father has enemies, and that she has seen suspicious characters around the family house. And this is a quote: "I am afraid that someone will do something."
Who said that?
That is what Lizzie said to Alice.
The neighbor.
So
Yes.
She's setting the stage.
August 4th, 1892. In the morning. We're talking a.m., okay?
August 4th, 1892.
In the morning. So about 7 a.m., Abby, Andrew, and John all have breakfast together.
Okay.
Afterwards, Andrew and Morse, which is John Morse, go to the sitting room while Abby begins her house cleaning chores. Bridget Sullivan goes to the backyard to throw up because the whole house had been sick. Remember, Bridget is the maid. Morse,
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! I'm a little bit taken back by
We'll
that.
talk a little bit more about it later. This is just supposed to be like a timeline, you guys. We're not supposed to be dwelling on this timeline.
The
Sorry.
timeline is crazy. The timeline is going crazy, man.
So Morse leaves the house about 8:45, and Lizzie has a light breakfast around 9 because remember, we're all sick. A few minutes later, Andrew leaves the home, which is the dad, taking with him some letters that Lizzie asked him to mail. At about 9:30 a.m., Abby goes up to the upstairs bedroom to continue house cleaning on the second floor. Now,
Because that guy stayed the night, so she wants to clean
Morse
up the room.
stayed the night. She needs to clean the room.
Okay.
This is usually a chore assigned to Lizzie and Emma. Emma's not here.
Conveniently.
Yes. Bridget Sullivan is outside cleaning the windows for the next hour. Sometime during the next hour, Abby Borden is killed in the guest bedroom. Okay?
So between, what are we talking, 9:30 and 10:30?
Yes. That is the timeline.
Okay.
At 11 a.m., Andrew Borden returns home carrying a small parcel, and Bridget lets Andrew into the house as she hears a muted laugh from upstairs. This is important. Remember this.
Are you fucking kidding?
Are you fucking kidding?
Wait, you guys, think about the timeline.
You just need
This
to
is-
chill
Think
out.
about the timeline.
Okay.
So,
She killed her
What?
stepmom and then she laughed about it. I'm with you.
yeah, there you go. So Lizzie visits her father briefly in the dining room, telling him that Abby had received a message and she had left the house. So Andrew lies down in the sitting room and Bridget goes to rest in her room, which is in the attic, which is the 3rd floor. Andrew Borden is murdered shortly thereafter on the sitting room sofa, and nothing is missing. There are no signs of a struggle. Lizzie calls for Bridget, saying, "Quick, someone has killed father." Lizzie tells a neighbor, Adelaide Churchill, that she had been in the barn looking for irons or sinkers because she was going like on a fishing
no.
trip soon.
Fuck
She was looking for that ex.
That
at the time
bitch
of the
was
murder.
looking for that ass.
So
For that ass.
Oh, that ass. So
that
shortly after 11:15, police were notified of the murders. Like it all happened in very rapid
How
succession.
the fuck do they got the thing where she says something to Andrew?
What do you mean?
He's dead. How the fuck did they get that?
That was before he
To
died.
Abby. No, to Bridget. No, to Adelaide.
Are you sure?
Oh my
Churchill.
God, I have to
Okay,
read
I
it
thought
all
you
again
said
so
to-
I don't know
can
what
catch
I was
up.
like. I don't know what the fuck you're talking
I
about.
thought
But
she
no,
said to
she
Andrew.
says it to her neighbor.
Welcome to the live record, everyone. We don't fucking listen. This is a fucking mess all the time. You
She
you
says
just don't
it-
know it. I
she's-
cut all this out.
She says it to Adelaide Churchill. Okay? So, on August 4th of 1892, dozens of policemen troop in and out of the Borden home. Doctors perform
Oh, I hate that they did that shit. They didn't even fucking secure scenes back
listen,
then.
there's
And
a
it's
lot,
like
there's a
ridiculous.
lot.
They never do.
They botched this whole thing.
CSI.
So,
For
doctors
real.
Doctors perform a post-mortem on the bodies on the dining room table. Yes. It's just the time, you guys. You used to keep your loved ones in your dining room, right, Dad, in their caskets until the funeral. Yes,
fuck.
you did.
I mean, yes, you did, but no, the fuck.
That was something that happened. So Lizzie is interrogated by Deputy Marshal Fleet. Lizzie speaks in a detached manner. So when Fleet calls Abby her mother, Lizzie insists she is not my mother. She is my stepmother. That's a quote.
Oh my god. Lizzie, you're making yourself so fucking guilty, bitch.
For real. Tea break.
Chill.
Tea break. Everyone have a tea.
What's melting?
The little seal.
Oh no!
Oh my god. That means it's a good one.
It's smoking
Oh,
good.
for fuck. Okay. We're going to talk about Lizzie a little bit more. For obvious reasons. So Lizzie was very involved in church activities, including Sunday school for children of recent immigrants. She was involved in religious organizations and contemporary social movements. She was very involved in her community. She was also a member of the Ladies' Fruit and Flower Mission.
What does that mean?
She was very loved in this community. She was very...
So they liked her before all of
Yes,
this.
she was very involved. She was a spinster, man. She was like...
They
fucking,
always are.
You know, she was like...
I'm not married, so let me pour all my money and time into
Yeah,
something
I mean,
else.
at the time, yeah, she should have been married by this time and having her own family, but she wasn't. She was at home. And so, in order to fill her
What is
time...
the Fruit and Flower Club?
Listen,
Yeah.
I didn't fuck... It's Mission, bitch, by the way.
The Fruit and Flower Mission?
Yes, ma'am.
Another
Does anyone know what that is?
It was a charity of some sort. It was
Jesus
for it was through the
Christ.
church, you know, all that
Okay.
shit.
Rich young ladies did charity.
Yes.
That's what they did.
That's
That was their
exactly
job.
what they did. And they were expected
I
to
guess,
do these
especially
things.
since they don't have a husband, that's what they do.
Yeah, they've had to fill their time with something. Not dick, Janet.
Bop, 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 bop.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
I mean, sometimes I fill my time with dick. Right, husband?
No!
Where's he at? Where's he at? I can't see him. Oh my god.
Anyway,
I'm
All right.
done.
So,
Cut the cameras.
Andrew
Cut
Borden.
the Cut the cameras.
So, Andrew Borden.
Sorry.
Again, for the third time. Let's try
Sorry
this
about
again.
that.
Let's try this again.
This tea break, I don't know what's happening to you.
Andrew Borden married Abby Durf Gray 3 years after the death of Lizzie's mother. Lizzie later stated that she called her stepmother Mrs. Borden, but stated that they had a cordial relationship. She believed that Abby had married her father for his wealth and his wealth alone. Like, in May of 1982, Andrew killed multiple pigeons in his barn with a hatchet. So we're going to talk about this.
Andrew did it.
1890.
I'm just kidding.
1892.
He's dead.
Believing that they were attracting local children to hunt them. This upset Lizzie as she had recently built a roost for the pigeons, and it has been commonly recounted that she was extremely fucking upset about this.
Yes.
So their barn had been, like, I wouldn't say broken into because it wasn't locked, but there had been evidence that children were coming and hunting these.
They was hungry.
Yes, basically.
But Abby...
You would have been what?
I would have been pissed.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And she was. By all accounts, she was fucking livid.
But Lizzie
this
was
happened.
like a known like animal. She like
Yes.
loved
Yep.
animals.
Yep, she did.
The hell?
Animal rights activist.
Hungry for
Yes.
chicken.
That's right.
So the argument that prompted the sisters to take an extended vacation, there was an argument. Nobody knows what the fuck happened, but both girls, Lizzie and Emma, went to New Bedford. They returned to Fall River a week before the murders. Lizzie chose to stay in a local rooming house for 4 days before returning to the Borden residence. So she came back to Fall River, but she didn't come back to the house right away when she came back from New Bedford. So it's fair to say that tension had been growing within the Borden family in the months leading up to the murders, especially over Andrew's gifts of real estate to various branches of Abby's family. Their stepmother's sister received a house from Andrew. So Lizzie and Emma demanded a rental property.
That'd piss somebody.
They reportedly wanted the house that they had lived in and grew up in until their mother had died. Well, I guess grew up in is whatever because Lizzie was 4. But they wanted that house. And they did purchase it from their father for $1. A few weeks before the murders, they sold the property back to their dad for $5,000 each.
Oh,
So John
That's
Whittaker,
a lot of money.
it is back in the
That's
day.
a
So,
big fuck
so
you.
just
That's what it
as of
sounds like.
as of 2023, that amount is $170,000.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So John Whittaker Morse, Lizzie and Emma's maternal uncle, visited the Borden home the night before the murders, and Andrew invited him to stay for a few days to discuss business matters. This has led to speculation that their conversation may have aggravated an already tense situation, particularly because of the property transfers happening. Their entire household had been violently ill, like we had talked about, several days before the murders, and a family friend later speculated that it was caused by mutton that had been left on the stove to use in meals over several days, which is obviously now,
They
like,
did.
that would happen.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
Food
So-
poisoning was-
Did do you think
was
that was a common thing
Yes.
that
Yeah.
was done?
Yeah.
But
So
wasn't
why would
also Abby the one that cooked for the family? So
Bridget.
Oh.
Bridget was the
Abby
one
was the mom, or the stepmom. So
When Grandma made potatoes, in the morning that's what they had for dinner at night.
Yeah, they just food safety was not a thing.
Yeah, bacon grease on it. It was fine.
So, are we saying that it's like a day, or are we saying how long?
Well, so they made it while they were sick, or I think like the day, so the day that they were sick, and they left it on the stove over several days. So it was like probably like the day before, and then they had gotten sick, so they just kept eating off of that same thing in order to not have to remake anything because they were ill.
Oh Lord!
Yeah.
I mean, that's valid.
Abby had feared poison, but her reasoning for this was that Andrew was not a very popular man in Fall River, because he wasn't. He was kind of a dick.
Everyone was like, "That guy's an asshole, and he's got a lot of money, so fuck him."
Yeah. Okay, so
Wow.
we're going to go into the day of the murder.
Oh, the murder.
The murder.
Here we go. The day of the murder.
We're gonna
Everyone
go back.
listen up to this.
Murder.
No, murder.
Murder. With a T.
So,
T.
Andrew, Abby, Morse, and Sullivan, who is Bridget, were present at breakfast that morning. So Andrew and Morse went to the sitting room, and they had chatted for nearly an hour. Morse left around 8:48, which we had talked about, to buy a pair of oxen and to visit his niece in Fall River. She lived in Fall River too, but it was just like, it was like 15 miles away or something like that. Planning to return to the Borden home for lunch at around noon. And they didn't call lunch at the time, they called it supper.
Yeah, I know. This
that's
from my
so odd.
grandmother.
So Andrew left for his morning walk around 9 a.m. By 9:30 or 10 Thursday morning, Abby lay face down on the floor in the upstairs guest room, mortally wounded by 19 blows to the back of the head.
Oh my God!
By
Imagine what it takes to do that. First of all,
By all accounts, Lizzie was the only individual in the house between 9:30 and 10:45. So Lizzie testified that she saw no one and heard nothing.
of course.
Sullivan
That's
indicated.
so convenient.
I mean, yeah, you'll get a lot of that. Sullivan indicated that she was outside of the home washing windows at Abby's request, and she was seen doing this by neighbors, so she was outside. Lizzie alleged that early that morning, Abby claimed to receive a note asking for her to visit a sick friend. However, no note was ever discovered, nor had anyone come forward with information about said note, and the sisters put up a $5,000 reward to find whoever
That's
wrote this
quite
note.
the sum at this time.
When you know
I
you
want
don't
their
have to
bank
pay it
account.
out, what difference does it make?
Right? So Andrew reportedly returned home around 10:45 that morning. He greeted his daughter and reclined on the sofa in the sitting room. And shortly before 11 a.m., Sullivan retired to her third floor room to rest. Lizzie testified, assuming her stepmother had left the house, she wandered to the barn and searched for on the second story. She was like up on the second story of the barn to search for the sinkers for the fishing trip.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
She also ate some pears in the barn, remaining there for a span of about 15 to 20
some
minutes.
motherfucking pears
Yeah,
in the
This is
barn.
crazy.
Shut the fuck
Shut
up.
up.
She remained in the barn for about 15 to 20 minutes.
I ate some pears
I
in
ate-
the barn.
I also did eat some
you
pears.
guys. Oh my
Upon-
God! I hope that was cool
I hope you
with
guys.
you.
I hope you guys are okay with
I
that.
just murdered someone in the house. I actually
but
murdered
I
two people in the
did
house.
eat. If you guys find any seeds in the barn, it's because I ate some pears.
But I wasn't in the house
But
to
I
murder
wasn't in
anyone.
there.
We'll talk about that. So,
I don't agree.
Pears, it's the perfect after murder snack.
it is. So upon her return to the house, she discovered her
Yes.
father's prone body in the sitting room. He had been struck 10 or 11 times, which we had talked
Wait.
about.
Okay, wait. Stop you there. Who found it? Lizzie said
Lizzie
she found it.
found him. He had been struck 10 or
Well,
11
there you
times
go, folks.
by a hatchet or a hatchet-like object.
Well, she didn't have to look too far.
Right.
Right.
And he was so disfigured that it was he was virtually unrecognizable
Was she-
to the family physician. And there are pictures of the autopsy on that murder board, and it is all the way fucked up.
It's all the way fucked
Can you
up.
see it, Daddy?
Well, and
It
that's
says
not in
autopsy
color.
photos.
Let me get my glasses.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah, you can't even see his face. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. The only you can see his chest and his ear, and then his face is like completely fucked up.
Holy shit.
Is that him on the couch?
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, is that him on the couch? Or?
That's him on the
and we
Okay.
ran over there roasting marshmallows.
Like he's completely like
You can't tell that.
no, you cannot. You don't know. It don't look like anybody. So the time after this was approximately 11 or 11:15. And Lizzie again cried for Bridget, asking her to go find Dr. Bowen. Attracted by the commotion, neighbor Adelaide Churchill, who we talked a little bit about earlier, ran to the house at Lizzie's request and stayed with her until the doctor arrived. And shortly after Bowen's arrival, Abby's bludgeoned body was discovered.
Oh,
So-
shit.
Yeah, Abby hadn't even been found yet. So Lizzie's initial answers to police officers' questions were at times strange and contradictory.
Yeah, no shit.
Initially, she reported hearing a groan or a scraping noise or a distress call of some sort before entering the house
Yeah.
from the barn. Mm-hmm. And 2 hours later, she told police that she had heard nothing and entered the house not realizing anything was wrong at all.
Can you remind me again where her sister, because her sister was at home.
Her sister was in New Bedford.
Do we know why?
It was just stated that she was there visiting family.
And that was fact.
Well, so again, when asked where her stepmom was, she again brought up the note situation.
Yeah.
That she had gotten a note and that she had gone off to see a sick friend.
She only claimed she found her father. Didn't say anything about stepmom.
No, nothing was
No.
said about
So-
stepmom.
And then they found her later.
So this
after
is
they
what
found
happened.
her.
So they're there looking at her father,
Yeah.
Dr. Bowen, the police, everybody is there, and she says, I think she may have returned home. Can somebody go upstairs and check?
Oh.
So the people that went upstairs to check were Bridget, which is the maid, and Mrs. Churchill. Sorry, Mrs. Churchill. Mm-hmm. And they went about halfway up the stairs, and so their eyes were like level with there's a whole map over there that you guys can see. But once you walk up the stairs, you can look over
like a
and
floor.
look right into the guest bedroom. And that's when they found Abby, laying face down on the floor. So this is again. Everybody's already there. The police, the doctor, everybody's already there. Then they find Abby. So most of the officers who interviewed Lizzie reported that they disliked her attitude. Some said that she was too calm and poised. Despite her behavior and changing alibis, she was not checked for bloodstains at this time.
Oh my
And
God.
police did search her room, but it was like a look-over inspection at best because Lizzie had said that she wasn't feeling well. None of the people in the house were feeling well. So they were just trying to okay, we're just going to look in your room real quick and whatever, and then we're going to fuck off.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, I would like to think at this time, if I was born in the 1800s, that I would be able to be like, wow, this seems a little odd.
You would hope
Lizzie
so, right?
seems a little odd.
You would hope. But so the police officers were scrutinized heavily during the trial for not doing a thorough search of her bed.
Rich people didn't get that kind of
Well,
they still don't.
Yeah, that's true. But
And that's also a fair assessment is that they were rich and so
I'm sure they were thinking somebody was coming in from the outside. They didn't think it was an inside.
right.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
would they, So in the basement, police found 2 hatchets, 2 axes, and a hatchet head that had been broken. So like the handle was broken off of it. It was just the hatchet head, which is pictured over
that
there.
could be like a rhythm that they teach in English class.
So the hatchet head was suspected of being the murder weapon, as the break in the handle appeared to be fresh, and the ash had been rubbed on it to make it look like it had been there for a while, but it was obvious that ash had just been rubbed on it
Oh, that's odd.
and deliberately applied. None of these tools were removed from the house, though. They left them there.
Wow.
Yep.
So, I just want to say, I'm sorry about this.
Say it.
No CSI.
Girl, say it.
But I just want to say, this is what just makes this case more crazy, and I think more odd than some of the cases we've covered before, is the fact that at this time some of that technology was available, and they just chose not to follow
not
through
to
with it.
do it.
They
yeah.
definitely did gather evidence at the time.
Because this is after Jack the
Yes.
Ripper.
So they
Yeah.
and
We've got fingerprints.
I mean, we
we've
talk a
got,
little bit about it later,
And they just
but
like chose not to.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's
Yep.
just what's so weird.
literally.
Like what's the
So-
issue?
So the victims' stomachs were removed during autopsies and tested for poison because of the mysterious illness in the whole household. And
doing that, you asshole.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Damn, I'm
That's
sorry.
right. That's exactly,
Exactly right. I'm on your side.
Tell them, Trixie. Tell them.
So anyways, they took the victims' stomachs out to like perform an autopsy, and there was no signs of poison.
So no black,
No signs of poison. And by
No signs of poison.
1892, you would hope they would be able to identify poison after the fact, at least. You know.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
the hell
This
were
is-
her clothes? There's no way you could hatchet the shit out of people and not
We
get
talk
blood
a little bit
splatter
about
all
that,
over your clothes.
but we
I
don't go
understand they
into
barely looked
detail.
In her room, but if she never looked, left
Oh my god, the
property,
crowd's getting pissed.
I
she's
know.
gotta have
Oh
blood
my
clothes
god, this
somewhere.
is a tough ass crowd.
So,
tough crowd.
The dresses do come into play, but we're not quite there yet, Sasha. I'm going to need you to fucking calm down a minute. All right?
You're getting the
I
crowd
can always
talk,
count on
man.
Sasha to get lit up.
So, Lizzie and Emma's friend Alice Russell, who we had talked about earlier, decided to stay with the sisters the night of the murders. Police were stationed around the house on the night of August 4th, and during which an officer said that he saw
What did he see?
Lizzie enter the cellar with Russell, who is Alice. BT dubs.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
And hold on. They were carrying a kerosene lamp and a slop pail.
My mind is blown.
Bucket.
He stated that he saw both women exit the cellar, after which Lizzie returned to the cellar alone. He was unable to see what she was doing, but he stated that she appeared to be bent over the sink in the basement.
Okay.
Or in the cellar, or whatever the
Wow.
fuck. Not yet.
Was there anybody behind her?
Oh, man.
Oh God,
disgusting.
Joe!
Why?
Joe!
Joe!
Listen. Fuck. Relax.
All right.
No, it hurts.
So now we're
Let
going...
it ride.
Let it ride.
Let her ride.
No, let it ride.
We're going
Tea
to...
break!
Yeah, tea break. That's a good idea. Tea break.
Tea break, bitches. Switch envelopes and take a drink of your drink.
Don't touch me.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Sing it.
Oh my God.
Oh my god.
We're going to carry on.
No.
So we're talking about
Be mad.
after the murders.
Sorry.
the murder.
After the murders.
So on August 5th, Morse tried to leave the Borden home, and he actually had to be escorted back by police because he was like fucking mobbed in the street.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
By hundreds
They
of
were like,
people.
what were they like? You did this?
I mean, I didn't really look into that part a whole
But they
bunch,
were like
but
murder.
Probably.
Or
Yeah,
what?
apparently
I
there
mean,
was,
what
like-
else would it be?
apparently there was like hundreds of people in this mob.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so police escorted Morse back to the Borden residence. So
Okay.
the following day, police conducted a more thorough search of the house, inspecting the sisters' clothing and confiscating the broken handle or the broken hatchet or whatever.
Well,
the fuck.
it's a day
So-
later, bitch.
That evening, a police officer and the mayor visited the house, and Lizzie was informed at that time that she was a suspect in the murder.
They told her?
Oh!
The next morning, Russell entered the kitchen to find Lizzie tearing up a dress.
Oh!
So
She murdered those bitches!
she explained that she was planning to put it on the fire because it was covered in paint. Right?
Red paint.
It was covered in fucking paint.
It was covered in paint.
Wow.
Shut the fuck
It was
Red
never
rum,
determined
red rum,
whether it
red
was the
rum.
dress that had been worn the day of the murders or not. So apparently, the day of the murder, Lizzie was wearing a dark, like, navy dress with, like, diamond shapes on it. She was asked to take the dress off so that the police could take that dress and inspect it. Apparently, there was a drop of blood found underneath on the underskirt. So she blamed that on her menses. And
Oh!
Ah, girl.
but there was only
Okay.
literally one drop of blood
Was
found.
it one of Clinton's
One
relatives
drop.
up there?
And so she blamed it on her menses. She gave the dress, and then she changed her dress. She changed into like a pink satin dress.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe that. Do you believe that?
But this
She
is
did it.
what's said. So there has been speculations that she
No,
murdered them
that's
in the
not true.
nude. She did all of these other things. We will talk a little bit more about that later.
Okay.
No, because she bleeds once a month.
We all bleed once
we
a
all
month.
do, but
Some of that PMS.
which makes us evil, Michelle. It makes us evil.
Right?
We'll talk a little bit about that later, about how menses make us evil.
Everything.
We'll talk a little bit about
We will,
that.
actually. It's in here.
I thought she was being funny.
No, it's actually in here. It's actually in here. Okay,
To have that line.
so the inquest and the trial.
You get an extra sticker,
That's
bitch.
a good soundbite.
Leave it in.
Leave it in.
Eyeballs. All right. So Lizzie appeared at the inquest hearing on August 8th, so this is 4 days after the murder. The court refused her request to have her family attorney present, citing a state statute providing that an inquest must be held in private. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
This is not true. She had been prescribed regular doses of morphine to calm her nerves, and it is possible that her testimony was affected by this. Have you ever been on morphine? Anybody?
That shit's like
Anybody?
crazy.
Yes.
I don't
Your
know if
ass
they gave
scratched
you a
my
hospital that
fucking
time.
face
Pretty
off.
nonsensical, I'll tell
Absolutely.
you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I hate that shit.
Obviously, her
I like
behavior
it.
was kind of all over the
It'll make
place.
you not care about
I'm scratching my
anything.
fucking skin off.
Mom
that
was
shit.
like,
She
crackhead.
often refused to answer questions, even if the answer would benefit her. She often contradicted herself and provided alternating accounts of the morning in question, such as saying that she was in the kitchen reading a magazine when her father arrived home, then saying that she was in the dining room doing some ironing, and then saying that she had
You know what?
come down from upstairs.
What does a magazine look like in 1840? Whatever.
Bitch, I have no
80,
fucking
whatever.
idea.
I don't think it's glossy.
Crazy
It's definitely
woman
not glossy.
steals a
What
horse.
does that look like?
It doesn't. On August 11th, Lizzie was served with a warrant of arrest and jailed. The inquest testimony, which was the basis for the modern debate regarding Lizzie's guilt or innocence, was later ruled inadmissible at her trial in June of 1893. And that's because she requested a lawyer. They denied her a lawyer.
What? That's un-American.
So they
I thought
denied
this
her
was America.
because she asked specifically if she could have her lawyer present. They said, no, you don't need it. It's whatever. That's why the whole inquest was inadmissible.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
Important information. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Lizzie's trial took place in New Bedford starting on June 5th of 1893.
Okay.
So, here's another little tidbit for you. Another axe murder occurred in Fall River on June 1st.
Oh, shit.
So her trial was June 5th. An axe murder took place on June.
Her trial's like really quick. Like
she
what the
what?
fuck?
I said, was she in custody?
She was. I don't remember actually. I didn't even.
How
fucking
long
look at
does
that
a
shit.
trial take nowadays?
So 5 days before Borden's trial began is
It
when
varies.
that axe murder had taken place. So this time the victim was Bertha Manchester, who was found hacked to death in her kitchen. The similarities between the Manchester and the Borden murders were striking and noted by the jurors, obviously. And Portuguese immigrant Jose Carrera
no,
de Mayo,
they
I'm
always
assuming,
do this shit.
was convicted of the Manchester
No.
murder in 1894, so it's a year later after what we're talking about right now. But he was determined not to have been in the vicinity of Fall River at the time of the Borden murders. A prominent point of discussion in the trial and press coverage was the hatchet head found in the basement, which was not convincingly demonstrated by the prosecution to be the murder weapon. So prosecutors argued that the killer had removed the handle because it would be covered in blood. One officer testified that a hatchet handle was found near the hatchet head, but another officer contradicted this statement. So we don't really know, and it was never recovered. There was no bloody clothes ever found at the scene, but also they only did a once-over, and they came back to inspect the house fully 2 days after. So Russell testified that she had witnessed Lizzie burning that dress, saying that it had been ruined, obviously, from the wet paint. And during the
Who does
course
that?
of this trial, the defense never attempted to challenge this statement. They were like, yeah, she burnt the dress. Like, we don't give a fuck. The prosecution claimed that Lizzie's motive had been both greed and hatred, arguing that she had committed parricide not only out of loathing of for her stepmother, but also to prevent Andrew from changing his will to Abby's favor. The prosecution pointed to one event as representation of the tension between Lizzie and Abby. 5 years prior to the murder, Andrew bought that 2-story dwelling. He had transferred it to Abby's sister. Lizzie's own testimony at the inquest indicated that both daughters took offense at their father's generosity, particularly as it was directed towards his wife's family rather than his own daughters. So, they didn't get shit. The defense referred to Lizzie's stellar reputation in Fall River society to refute the prosecution's claims.
Okay.
The defense also noted that the Borden home had been burglarized 12 months before the murders, like we had talked about, and the barn had been broken into twice over the pigeon fiasco. Thus
guys.
introducing the possibility of an anonymous assailant. The defense continued to stress that Lizzie was not capable of such a cruel deed. She was a woman, after all, in 1892. They were very reluctant to convict her mostly because she was a woman.
That's so sexist.
Yeah. The prosecution argued that Lizzie, alone in the house with the victims, had ample opportunity to commit these murders. The defense refuted the prosecution's claims, pointing at the lack of blood because, I mean, she was pristine. Adelaide Churchill, who was the neighbor, she testified that when she arrived at the Borden house, no blood spotted Borden's dress at all. There was no blood on it. Obviously, she wasn't like looking under her skirt. Nor was her hair disheveled in any way. Like, she was prim, proper. However, contradicting testimonies surfaced regarding Lizzie's attire during the time of the murder, as well as which ones she had turned over. Like, did she turn over the right dress, or did she not turn over the right dress?
Because if she was guilty, she wouldn't have.
But if she was going to turn over the wrong dress, why would she turn over one that had any blood on it at all, is my... So, Alice Russell, who we had talked about earlier.
Neighbor.
Yep. Complicated matters by testifying. She testified in court about the dress, about the burning of the dress.
What'd she say?
Just that Lizzie had burnt the dress in Emma and Alice's presence. That's it, basically. Lizzie denied that the burned dress was ever worn during the murders. Both victims' heads had been removed during the autopsy.
Lost.
The skulls were admitted into evidence during the trial and presented on June 5th, which was the first day of the trial. And upon seeing them in the courtroom, Lizzie fainted, as I would as well.
Yep. It was a legit faint? Or was it a fake ass faint?
I don't fucking know, but they said that she fainted.
You want to see my fake?
So evidence was...
You want me to faint right now and be like...
I won't see it.
So we need to talk about the evidence that was excluded.
She fainted right there.
I could fall off the stair.
I'll drink to that.
It can happen.
Was
It can.
she learning
Y'all
now
can
that
do that
she-
fake.
Was
So-
was she learning now that she had to feign
Possibly.
upsetness?
Possibly. But also, you have to remember them corsets and them fucking... It's fucking...
Listen.
Yeah, it
Oh my
is.
God, girl.
It
We
is
gotta be skinny
June.
no matter what.
It is June, and it is hot, and you got that corset on, and then you see
like
your daddy's skull
petticoats.
brought out, and it's like bashed in, and then you're like, oh, fuck. You know.
That's crazy,
I
man.
mean, it is what it is. So,
Was it just the skull? Had they removed the flesh? Since
Oh,
it
yeah.
had
there's
a
pictures
skull?
of it right
Okay.
over here if you want
It
to
was
see them.
the whole
Like, I mean,
skull,
if they
and they
came out
did
with
remove the
flesh.
flesh.
Yeah.
From it.
Evidence was excluded. The evidence of the prussic acid, which is what is it? A hydrogen cyanide is what prussic acid is.
Yeah.
That Lizzie had purchased this from a local druggist on the day before the murders.
Okay. Is that weird or no?
And she this was reportedly done because she had a sealskin cloak. And at the time, in order to like clean and like weatherize your cloaks, and especially like the sealskin or any kind of skin, you use prussic acid to rub it on the cloak. I guess
I'd
that's
call
what
it-
they did. It was determined to be not admissible in court.
Okay.
The judge ruled that the incident was too remote in time to have any connection.
Interesting.
The defense refuted the claim that Lizzie had the opportunity to commit the murders. The defense also questioned the lack of a murder weapon, which was never found, but was believed to be that handless hatchet, but it was never the
This is
prosecution.
the one. They
Yeah.
were never like, this is it.
No.
Yeah.
However, a microscopic examination of that blade over there,
Oh,
On the
yeah.
picture. On the butcher board.
On the
revealed
butcher board.
no traces of blood, and the handle was never recovered, even though people said it was
Didn't
there. It wasn't
have
there.
any blood on it?
Nope.
Nope.
No blood. After only 1 hour of deliberation, the jury declared Lizzie not guilty. Newspaper reports claimed that jurors only needed 10 or 15 minutes, but they decided to wait another 45 minutes to inform the court out of respect for the prosecution. Accounts also reported that the
That's
prosecutor
fancy. That doesn't happen
clapped
anymore.
at the verdict. So he was also
Oh
happy
my
that
God.
she was not
The prosecutor
convicted.
did?
Yep, sure did.
Wow.
Because Andrew died with no will, they could not find the will.
He did not have
They could not. It was rumored that he had one, but they could not find it.
Interesting.
So Lizzie and Emma inherited nearly $500,000 in cash and real estate. With this considerable wealth, the Borden sisters bought a large new house in a fashionable section of Fall River. Lizzie called the house Maplecroft, and then she
Maplecroft.
renamed herself Lizbeth.
Oh. Lisbeth.
So I'm going to take a tea break, and then we're going to talk about theory. Everybody, we're gonna go on with theories.
We're
okay?
gonna start. You guys ready?
I'm proud of you.
I got
Everyone have a seat. Who did it?
thought 5,000 miles.
We're going to start out with Lizzie Borden.
OJ fucking did it.
The first theory is Lizzie Borden.
Yes.
Obviously.
So, although acquitted at trial, Lizzie remained the prime suspect in her father and stepmother's murders. It was thought that she might have committed the murders while in a state of psychosis brought on by nothing other than a period. It's called a fugue state, and it's a state of psychosis that women went into when they were on their periods.
Can I go into that? Fucking bullshit.
So another suggestion was that she was physically and sexually abused by her father, which drove her to kill him. There is no
But I don't think that's the case here.
well, there is no evidence to support that at all.
It was the whole house.
Well, his
But
dad was
also,
like,
you
no.
have to remember that incest was not a topic that would have been covered at the time either. So there is no evidence, but we don't talk about incest in 1892.
Yeah,
or
we don't
whatever
talk
the fuck.
about it.
We don't
so
talk
it
about
doesn't
it.
exist.
The incestual relationship was also a topic that was brought up in newspapers at the time
Between Lizzie and her dad.
between Lizzie and her father.
Ew.
So if not Lizzie, then who? Lizzie had a good opportunity to commit the murders, and at the time of her stepmother's murder, which was around 9:30 a.m., house guest John Morris was visiting relatives. He had an alibi. Emma, which was Lizzie's sister, was out of town, and Andrew Borden was running errands around town. And Bridget was outside washing windows, and she was seen doing so by the neighbors. Only Lizzie was known to be in the house. There was nobody else that was known to be in the house. And if you remember, the doors to the Borden home were always locked.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you hear
To commit
something if
both
you were
murders-
washing the windows?
You might,
If
but
you
I
hit
don't
'em
know.
hard enough, you would.
So, to commit both murders, an outside intruder would have to be either... they would have to either hide in the house for 90 minutes to commit both of those murders,
That's bullshit.
Or-
Nobody did that.
or departed and then came back.
Nope, they didn't do that either.
Which is
Even
kind of
insane
sus. So police found no signs of forced entry into the Borden home, despite the fact that the Bordens habitually locked their doors, which we had talked about, and nothing appeared to have been stolen. No stranger was seen, this part's important, no stranger was seen entering the Borden home or leaving
Or leaving.
the Borden home. Lizzie claimed to have been downstairs at the very time Abby was violently murdered upstairs. But she said she heard no alarming noises at all.
That's bullshit.
And Abby had been struck multiple times, 18 or 19 fucking times with an axe, and probably fell hard on the floor. Before the murders, Lizzie supposedly visited Smith's drugstore in Fall River, where she attempted to buy the poison, prussic acid, but the druggist refused to sell it to her.
Thank God.
Lizzie told police that while she was alone in the house with Abby on the morning of the murder, a messenger came to the door with a note summoning Abby to visit a sick friend. Lizzie told people that she assumed that Abby had left, and again, no such note was ever found, even
and
though...
no one saw any stranger come or go. So where's this messenger if nobody saw a stranger come
Correct.
or go?
Precisely, my love.
My love. So when Bridget came back inside after having finished washing the outside windows around 10:30 a.m., she reported hearing muffled laugh coming from the upstairs.
I don't like that at all.
She
Who the
is-
fuck laughs when
What
they
is
do
a
this shit?
muffled
Who the
laugh?
fuck laughs? Who the fuck laughs when they do this shit?
So she
Lizzie
is
Borden.
right.
Jesus.
She assumed it was
Christ.
Lizzie making the noise, and Lizzie, of course, denied being upstairs during the time period between Abby and her father's murder.
Duh.
At the time of the murder of Andrew Borden, Lizzie claimed to have been in the loft in the backyard barn for about 15 or 20 minutes, but police found the loft so stifling hot that it was difficult to believe that anyone could voluntarily remain in such a place for as long as 20 minutes. They also found no footprints that could corroborate her story. Lizzie had a strained relationship with her stepmother. They usually ate their meals separately, and Lizzie resented the fact that her father transferred that property to Abby's sister rather than her. And although Lizzie appeared to have somewhat better relationship with her father, there were problems there also. Lizzie was supposedly outraged that her father beheaded those fucking pigeons.
Yeah, because she was an animal advocate.
Yeah.
She, loved animals.
Yeah,
So then there was
Right?
the week before the murders where Lizzie and Emma left Fall River to go to New Bedford after a family argument. In 1891, the cash and jewelry were stolen from the master bedroom in the Borden home. And it was an open secret that Lizzie was suspected of being the thief. We talked about that. She had also been accused by several merchants of shoplifting. Immediately after the discovery of her parents' bodies, Lizzie sent various people who were coming over on various errands, and it just seemed strange that a woman would choose to remain alone in a house if she thought that there was still a murderer on the loose somewhere. Yeah.
She would want
it
as
could
many
have been.
people surrounding her as possible, right?
I mean, you would think.
Yeah.
Then 3 days after the murder, she was seen burning that blue corduroy dress that we had talked about
It was corduroy.
on a kitchen fire.
What
Yeah.
an asshole.
Corduroy in August.
What an asshole.
I mean, right.
Corduroy in August?
I mean, tea break
That's
to
a
that.
fucking sin.
Tea break to that.
Tea break.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about John Morse and the theory of John Morse.
I don't think he.
Oh, there's theories around
Okay,
him.
the Morse murder theory
Yes.
proposes that Lizzie Borden's uncle, John,
Okay.
committed the murders of Andrew and Abby. This theory suggests that Morse was a prime suspect due to his suspicious arrival in town the day before the murders, his supposed butchery skills with weapons, his convenient but detailed alibi. So he is said to, his alibi was, he knew every fucking second of every day, everything that he did that day, which is kind of weird. Numerous authors have examined evidence such as police records and witness testimony to support this alternative theory, arguing that Morse was the real killer. Reasons John Morse is a suspect. So when he arrived, he came with very few possessions. He only had the clothes that he was wearing. But he was a butcher by trade, which I just said. This suggested that he would be familiar and comfortable using sharp, bloody weapons like an axe or a hatchet. And he was the first to leave the house the morning of the murders and provided a highly detailed and precise alibi for his activities, which many found suspicious. I probably would have too.
Yeah.
He was perceived by some to be a secretive and suspicious person, adding to his potential guilt in the eyes of some investigators. The theory proposes that he left the house to establish an alibi and then returned to commit the murders. Initial speculation briefly centered on Morse as the mastermind. and some believing that he was involved in an incestuous relationship with Lizzie. Also.
Oh my God! Everybody thinks she was sleeping with the whole family.
That's how it just was back in the day. Everybody sleeping with everybody. John was supposedly a suspect in the Villisca Axe murders.
I don't know if you guys remember that episode, but that was a little
Was
bit
he
of a
actually
time.
here?
It was discovered that he actually passed away a few months before the murders took place, but he apparently had family in the area of Villisca at the
John
time
Morse?
of the murders. Yes.
Oh my God.
Some people theorize that perhaps John hired someone to commit these murders on this family, and they went to the wrong residence and murdered the wrong people.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
The next theory is Bridget, which was the maid.
Yep.
So, ordered to wash windows on the hottest day of the year after being ill, made her go mad, and she hacked Mrs. Borden
No.
to death.
Sorry.
She then murdered Mr. Borden in order to prevent him from reporting her. And this
No.
is a theory that suggests that Mrs. Borden is the target victim, which is the only really theory that Mrs. Borden was the target victim.
That's bullshit. I don't believe this.
And that Mr. Borden is killed to keep him from identifying her as the murderer.
Nope. No.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, assigning the motive of rage to Bridget is fucking difficult since there is no evidence that suggests that she harbored any hostility towards her employers at all. Was Bridget Lizzie's lover? So, in her rage, Mrs. Borden had, like, found out about this and, like, fucking confronted Lizzie and
About being
Bridget
gay?
about being gay. And this made...
'Cause this was like an absolute fucking no-no.
This made Bridget upset at Lizzie's unjust treatment at the hands of her stepmother and father. There is unfortunately no evidence to support this, but there is no evidence in this case at all, in my personal
Do not
fucking opinion.
support it.
We will come back to
We'll
that.
come back to that
So
later.
perhaps Bridget wandered away under the very noses of police with the murder weapon and the bloodstained dress.
Okay.
Because
okay.
Lizzie was sending everybody out to do everything. Lizzie plotted the murders with Bridget. So this is another theory. Only the two of them were in the house when the 200-pound Abby Borden heavily fell and noisily
That was fucked
to
up.
the floor.
Bitch, did you say 200-pound
did.
Abby Borden?
I did.
Brand new information.
My God.
So Bridget's passage was paid so that she could return to Ireland after the murders. Her passage was paid to Ireland, and so was it Lizzie's part of the bargain? Is it possible that she might have some guilty knowledge of the crimes?
Well, but also, I mean, if they paid her as their employee and then she has no job, they should pay for her with
Yeah.
all their money to go back home.
There's absence of reasonable motive for Bridget to have committed these murders.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's dead now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Emma
True.
could give.
Yeah,
Emma could have
in
bought
the
her
end.
ticket, like, "Hey, go home.
Yeah.
We don't have a job for you."
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about Emma, the elusive Emma. So according to this theory, Lizzie and Emma conspired together to kill their father and stepmother. There's evidence that there was tension in the household, and others have suggested that perhaps Andrew abused both of the girls as children, and that the murders were like some sort of revenge or something.
Yeah.
Like after their mother died.
Yeah. So Emma was the murderess. So this is the theory, is with Lizzie as a frightened accomplice. The motive for Emma is the same as Lizzie's, the desire to inherit all of Mr. Borden's estate and resentment over financial arrangements Mr. Borden was making for his second wife. So Emma establishes her alibi away from the crime scene, some 15 miles away. So she could have driven her buggy from Fairhaven to Fall River, hiding in the upstairs, committing the murders, and driving her buggy back to Fairhaven.
Somebody would have seen it.
Right, where she awaits the telegram from Dr. Bowen. And then once Lizzie is accused, the sisters work together to protect each other.
Yeah, small town nosiness would have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there could be a point where it seems that Emma is trying to double-cross Lizzie. And Lizzie forces Emma to share the rewards of the murder with her. It includes legal documents that establish the division of Andrew Borden's wealth. So they did actually like go and like establish who gets what after the fact, which is kind of, I mean, like with us that wouldn't happen.
No.
But with them, they did do it. So it kind of seems like something's weird there. The lingering suspicion of one another is evidenced from time to time by Emma's estrangement from Lizzie. Later, the two sisters went to court over Emma's intent to sell A.J. Borden building. So it was a building that her father owned. Or their father owned.
Yeah.
And this was resolved only by Lizzie buying Emma's share of the building. She bought her out. So something could have been dicey.
That's
there,
kind
huh?
of...
We gonna take a tea break. Okay, we're gonna go over the last theory. Is everybody ready? So the next theory is the half-brother, William Borden. So, William Borden was supposedly the illegitimate son of Andrew Borden. And this supposedly happened while he was married to Sarah, which is Lizzie and Emma's mother. So it's
Some random tramp.
no, it's not. It's actually theorized that so his name is Borden because supposedly the woman who he impregnated was married to Andrew's cousin.
Yeah.
So William had a fascination with hatchets,
Of course he did.
and his possible connection to the Bertha Manchester murder could have been a contract murder to divert guilt away from Lizzie. Because remember, that happened 5 days before the trial. So William had reportedly a particular hatred for Abby, whom he saw as having taken place of his own mother, who should have married Andrew.
She was already married.
Yeah, but
It was a whole thing
there's trying to be
that I
some
don't
money
really
involved
go
in it.
into. While he was waiting for Mr. Borden to return from town so that he could confront his father about the will, something ignited his fury, and in his rage, he killed Mrs. Borden with a hatchet and then carried it with him because he carried a hatchet with him at all times. Because
That's bullshit.
remember,
No, that didn't happen.
remember, he was obsessed. So I also have to take this moment in time to tell you that William Borden was supposedly not right in his mind. He wasn't quote unquote normal.
I don't think any of these people were.
I mean,
was just gonna
fair
say.
assessment. Fair assessment. After killing Abby, William waited for Mr. Borden to return to the house. When he did so, he confronted his father, and they presumably argued, and Mr. Borden likely dismissed him and turned his back to him and lay down on the sofa, ignoring the agitated William. His rage was reignited, and William hacked his father to death and then fled the house. So there were witnesses who saw an unknown man near the house.
Oh. Let it ride.
Indeed, there were some witnesses who saw an unknown man near the house at the time of the murders. He was never identified, just described as a quote-unquote wild-eyed man. Lizzie then allowed herself to be named as a suspect rather than disclosing the real killer, so that once acquitted, her and Emma would be the only undisputed heirs to the Borden fortune. So, what's your theory? What are you guys thinking?
Sasha, who did it?
Oh, Lizzie did it. She admitted she was in the household the whole time. She did not say. She said she didn't hear nothing.
She was in the barn. She said she was in the barn.
Yeah,
And she didn't hear
never left the
anything.
property.
Conveniently.
Yeah, it was Lizzie.
I think it was Lizzie or William.
Any other
Lizzie.
theories? Anybody?
My theory is that
John Morse.
I think Lizzie did the actual murder, but Bridget was outside washing windows in the heat of the day so that she could keep an eye on who was around, who was coming and going, and what had
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So they were lesbian lovers.
Well, Cynthia isn't the one that ordered Bridget out to clean the windows. Abby is, so that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Abby's the one that told Bridget to go wash the
Well,
window.
that's why she's like, Lizzie, go kill the bitch.
Oh, fuck.
After the acquittal, Lizzie and Emma inherited their father's substantial estate, which allowed Lizzie to purchase Maplecroft, which was the large mansion in Fall River's most fashionable neighborhood.
Which is where she always wanted to live.
Yep. Despite the new house and newfound wealth, Lizzie remained a subject of scandal. She retreated into a form of internal exile, avoiding local society and changing her name to Lizbeth to distance herself from her notorious past. She used her inheritance to travel frequently to cities like Boston, New York, Washington, where she enjoyed attending the theater and socializing. Lizzie developed a friendship and possibly a romantic relationship with actress Nance O'Neill,
Ooh.
which was very scandalous at the time,
Ritzy.
and brought more gossip and rift with her sister Emma, who moved out of Maplecroft in 1905 and rarely spoke to Lizzie. Like, it's reported that they never spoke again after this. Even with her acquittal, the public's opinion was rarely swayed.
Yeah, because it was Andrews.
And Lizzie was often the target of pranks and attention from children in the neighborhood, which is how the whole rhyme thing started. In 1926, newspapers discovered that a woman in a Providence hospital using the alias Mary Smith Borden was actually Lizzie, who suffered from a gallbladder ailment. That's all it said.
I'm so sad that she had to use like a weird name.
She did. And after experiencing continued health problems, Lizzie died at home in Fall River on June 1st of 1927. So, Emma eventually left Fall River and settled down in Newmarket, New Hampshire, and she avoided the public eye until passing away in 1927 from a chronic nephritis, which is kidney inflammation, just 10 days after Lizzie Borden died. And Bridget, so we have Bridget. Bridget had some relatives in Montana, and that family lore states that she went back to Ireland after the murder trial. And it was stated, so this is a quote where Bridget was, what she did, and how she might have afforded travel back to Ireland are all unknown. Bridget had a friend named Minnie Green. The two had come to the U.S. together, and Minnie headed for mining camps in Montana because the prospects seemed much better, while Bridget stayed close to the ocean. After the murders, Bridget informed Minnie that she wanted to go back to Ireland and purchase a small farm. And it turned out not to be what she had wanted. She came back to the U.S. and then joined Minnie in Montana. And she met and married John Sullivan, no relation.
Yeah.
They either had children or they didn't. That was very unclear. So John Morse is kind of hard to find much on after the murders. He returned to Fall River in June of 1893 to testify at the trial, but then withdrew to Hastings, Iowa, where he died in 1912. But there are many accounts of him renting rooms all over Fall River. This one is important, okay? William Borden.
William.
On April 17th of 1901, the New Boston Woods was the scene of a ghastly crime. A man was found suspended from a limb of a tree. When they found the body, they identified the man as George Borden, an apparent murder victim. Then they discovered his real name and who he actually was. They changed the cause of death to suicide by both hanging and poisoning.
Interesting.
When William, or Bill, as he liked to be called,
Grandpa Bill?
Dad,
Let's go, Grandpa Bill.
was found with all of his clothes were all perfectly dry, even though it had rained that night.
Oh.
Okay.
John Morse stayed in Fall River for 9 years after the murders. Morse was seen on Meridian Street the night before Bill's alleged suicide. So what was he doing on Meridian Street that night, and why the hell was he there? The police never even questioned him, and the day Bill's body was found, Morse disappeared. Where are we at? How is everybody feeling?
Lizzie did it! I still think it's
Lizzie,
crime.
but I mean that makes it very clear
Here's
that
how Morse killed the Bill.
he's pretty fucking suspicious too.
What do you think?
So here's my personal
What
belief.
is Trask think?
My personal belief is that Lizzie and Emma hired their half-brother William to commit the murders.
Oh.
I think that Emma remained out of town to establish her alibi, while Lizzie came back to town because she needed to assist William in hiding him in the home from Abby and Andrew.
Okay.
Girl.
Bridget either was in on it all along or found out after the fact, and the sisters gave her money to keep her quiet. Uncle John coming to the house was an unexpected obstacle, and I don't believe that he was aware of the murder plot until after the fact. But I do believe that he confronted the sisters, and rather than giving up his own sister's children, he decided to just make sure that his alibi was solid, which is why he was so whatever with his alibi. As far as Morse's connection to the Villisca murders and the murder or suicide of William, I don't know. So I really do not think that John had anything to do with the Villisca murders because there's just not enough evidence there. It is possible that he had something to do with William's death, but he was an old man. How would he he would have been around 68 at the time of William's death. And what was his motive? Was he angry with Andrew for cheating on his sister? Or was he pissed at William for murdering Andrew and Abby? Was he helping cover Lizzie and Emma's tracks? All of these things are possible. I do believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that Lizzie was the brains of the operation and William was the muscle.
Oh my God, girl, you're right.
I
think you're right.
Yeah.
I could go with that.
I think you're right.
Especially with the other death now
Yeah.
that he had
Yeah,
been a part
it's
of.
just kind of weird.
That's a
Yeah.
All right, you guys. That's going to do it for us tonight. We want to thank everyone for joining us. If you have any other theories, we would love to hear them. Go on over to thepoisonteaparty.com and send us a message and let us know who you think actually killed Andrew and Abby Borden. Until next time, my friends, keep it classy, keep those pinkies up. You've been poisoned!